In this video, we're going to be finding out about a whole new payment system that's going to introduce many, many people who don't know about crypto into the world of crypto.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
Got crypto? Got a hardware wallet to keep your crypto safe? Then you have to have one of these to keep your seed phrase safe. The Keystone tablet is fireproof, waterproof. You can use it to store 12-word, 18-word, 15-word, 24-word seed phrases. It comes with a full set of letters and everything you need to make sure that your seed phrase never gets destroyed or disappeared. Get one, get two, get three, have multiple copies. Use my affiliate link in the description below.
Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. I have with me Bish. Bish is a vow maximalist. He vows, he promises. Now, before I introduce him, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, join my official Telegram announcements channel, and also please follow me on these two channels, bit.ly/CryptoRich3Speak, fully decentralized, and you can earn crypto by watching videos and engaging with the community there, and also bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey. I post more videos on those platforms than I do on YouTube or on Rumble. Both of those two platforms are centralized. All right. Hey, Bish, thank you so much for making yourself available. We spoke ages and ages and ages and ages and ages ago, I think another universe, and it's taken ages for you and I to get together and talk. And you are a vow maximalist, you say.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yes.
That's right.
There's some people, no, I just want to check, it's not a coin with a dog on its face, right? Like a Doge maximalist or a...
No. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously that term is used. People talk about it in terms of Bitcoin. Yeah, they say I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, and we suddenly realized over a period of time that that's what we are. But we're not Bitcoin maximalists anymore. We're vow maximalists, which is of course a giant jump in terms of thinking, because it just sounds nuts. I mean, it sounds nuts, even from the perspective that people are Bitcoin maximalists. A lot of people are like, "Hey, you're crazy. You know, let's just trade into an altcoin, make some money back into Bitcoin continually, and that's where my riches are." But over time, being involved in Bitcoin from when it was $86 till now, there is something which sounds good. All the thoughts about Bitcoin sound like this glorious circle that will just build up and absorb everything in the universe and become Bitcoin universe in the future. And maybe that will happen to a certain degree, but it has some seriously flawed thought processes in my mind. And we don't know how it'll play out, right? Nobody knows how that will play out in future. But there are some flaws in my mind that I see, and that's why I call myself a vow maximalist, because I think vow has conquered some of those flaws.
Okay, and so what is vow?
So, well, a vow is a promise. That's what it is. It's like when you get married, you stick on a ring, not with that finger.
Not with that finger, no.
When you get married, you make your vows, right? So they're pretty damn solemn. Yeah, you're supposed to take them seriously, and I guess everyone does. And we thought that at the end of the day, that's what money is. Yeah, it's a communal commitment to accept a certain unit of value. It's a certain commitment by all of us, yeah, to agree that a certain unit of value has value between us all. And this is a fundamental principle. Is why do we believe in a dollar? Because all of us just believe that a dollar is a dollar, and it's being issued by a government or a central bank. And the same with a pound sterling, and the same with a euro. But now we all know it's not backed by anything except our communal agreement that this is something that's real. We wondered, could that same thing be done in a completely different way? Could we achieve a consensus that a certain thing is real? Now, in the world of Bitcoin, that's done essentially by increasing value and whatever other stories, digging money out the ground, from the miners and things. But without that technical concept, could it be achieved in a different type of way? And that's really what we're trying to do with vow and what vow means. So the general process is it begins with reward programs. It can go a lot bigger, but it begins with reward programs. And hopefully by the end of the next few minutes, as we talk through this, it'll become clearer to your viewers exactly what we're talking about here and why in the end we become vow maximalists. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
So tell us. So yeah, please. So what is vow? How does it work? What can I do with it?
So we've been involved in reward programs for many years.
Now, by reward programs, you mean like when you go to the shops and you like air miles or points
like that.
Merch shop or something?
Yeah, from all levels. So from the level of a coupon and a discount voucher to more sophisticated point schemes, etc. But we've been involved in that space for many years, and pretty successfully in some respects. And we've learned how not to do it in other respects. But essentially, it comes down to this core concept of a seesaw in the rewards game, yeah, where on one side of the seesaw we have a business, a shop, a merchant, a retailer who wants to get the customers to come in and keep coming in and buying more and selling as much product as they can for as much money as they can to the customers, and that's the true motivation of any business. And on the other side of it, you have a customer who cannot be bothered with rewards, coupons, vouchers, can't be bothered searching on Google every time they want to do anything. They can't be bothered, but they know they have to, and they kind of are searching for the best price they can get for whatever product or service they're looking to buy. So the customer wants things always and forever cheaper, and the merchant wants things always and forever more expensive. And in the middle, we find this kind of price that everyone kind of agrees on to buy on, and that's that middle place. So the problem is that in every reward program in history, generally what happens is the merchant has to sacrifice value. And that value can be in the form of a cashback. It can be in the form of a point. It can be in the form of anything, right? But it's giving away some value in order to attract a consumer. And that value may or may not be relevant or enough value to the consumer to push their behavior into doing what the merchant wants that consumer to do. So, for example, if it's a cashback, the merchant can't do 50% cashback. He doesn't have the margin to do 50% cashback. He can't do more than 1% in points because like he doesn't want to give away more than 1% in points. But the customer is always wanting more. Mm-hmm. And to a certain degree, a lot of the services that we've seen in the middle, the brokerage services in the middle, like, for example, the Ubers, the Just Eats, the different kind of deliveries, they make money because they take the money first. So the customer pays them and they pay the merchants. And in the control of that channel, they're taking their commission in the middle. And that's how they end up eating the earth. They're very successful that way. But in terms of a process where the customer pays the merchant directly and that service gets paid afterwards, like, for example, an affiliate network or something like this, there isn't so much of a big discount that can be given because at the end of the day, the merchant is going to be surfaced a bill and they're going to go, this bill is too high. Let me reduce it next month, which then annoys the customers. Or let me make it only available on the first transaction, which then annoys the customers. Or let me make it only on a Friday night between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock when the customer doesn't spend too much money. And then, it just becomes blah, blah, blah. So we thought to ourselves, well, actually, let's think about the concept of value or money or something. And what would stop us just creating a completely new supply of money? Nothing, not backed by anything in the entire system, not backed by dollars, not backed by fiat, not backed by Bitcoin, not backed by any of the problems where there is a backing or a prepayment. What happens if we just created a completely new monetary supply? And that sounds a bit nuts. But then we realize there is such a thing, and that is discount vouchers. Just basic, simple discount vouchers. Because if I'm a shop and I want to attract customers and Crypto Rich comes in and has a meal with me and I say, tell you what, Mr. Crypto Rich, here's a $20 off discount voucher for the next time you come back. Did that cost me any money?
No.
So if I now take that discount voucher and I print it in 500 newspapers or 1,000 or 1,000,000 newspapers, and all of the newspapers are now showing my $20 off voucher, has that cost me any money other than the advertising in the newspaper? But it's not cost me any money to create all of that value or perceived value in the world. And it's not backed by anything because the customers don't think that they can come back and get money from the business or Pizza Hut. They just think they can use it on their next sale. So it's not e-money, it's not prepaid value, it's not stored value, it's none of that. A discount voucher is negative value, okay? And it also has something very interesting about it. When the consumer uses that back in the business, they are using it to discount a future sale. So by using that to discount a future sale, there isn't sales tax payable on the amount of the discount. So I may spend 100 in the business and I get a 20% discount. The merchant only pays his tax and his VAT on the 80. The discount amount doesn't have any tax or VAT on it because it's just a discount. So now let's think about this unit. The problem is if there's too many of these units, because the merchants put them in a million newspapers, there's too many of them, so it depletes there's no way to measure the value or the stability of those discount vouchers because they're all over the place in every publication. So what we do is we tokenize those discount vouchers into $1 discount vouchers or €1 discount vouchers or £1 discount vouchers, and we let the merchants issue them and accept them just as they would a normal discount voucher. There is clear legal precedence to them, clear accounting treatment to them. Everything's very clear and it's no different than any other discount voucher. But what it does is it starts creating a form of liquidity that is fungible across retailers, because you can use one discount voucher I gathered in this business to reduce my bill in the other business. It starts creating a giant liquidity that can be used for pure liquidity in a business, for pure spending or utility in businesses in an area. It doesn't cost the businesses anything. It doesn't cost the consumers anything. It just creates a new form of value or negative value that can be moved around. Does that make sense on the first stage?
Yeah.
Okay. So if that can be done and tokenized in a successful way, what we now need to do is we now need to figure out how to onboard as many consumers as possible and as many merchants as possible into that framework. And that's what we do within normal standard businesses every single day in multiple countries and companies, where we're onboarding customers and merchants into a more efficient way of doing the cashback that they already do and doing the discount vouchers that they already do, in a much more efficient way. But something happens in this process, Rich, which is the most interesting part of this process is the following. If you are a consumer and you walk into a business and we make this process of receiving these discount vouchers really easy to you, so you just connect your credit card, you use your credit card in a business to pay the bill you were normally paying. And instead of the human being saying, there you go, Mr. Crypto Rich, there's $10 off the next time you come into my store. If that could be automated and automatically trigger the receipt of those discount vouchers into a consumer's discount wallet, okay, for use the next time, then that would be great. And that's what we've done by tying it to debit cards and credit cards. So the retailers can be onboarded seamlessly. Just give us your merchant identifiers. The consumer can be onboarded easily. Just register your debit card. And now when the consumer is just shopping, doing what they're doing, they're automatically essentially mining these units of currency into existence, these units of discount value into existence. So if you can imagine two stores, one of them's offering 20% reward, and one of them's not, obviously and they're selling the same product, you're going to go to the one that offers the 20% reward, except in this case, it's not costing this business anything to give the 20% reward out to the consumer. So he has a massive advantage in driving customers to their business. The only thing they need to do is they vow to accept back the 20% they just gave the consumer from any other consumer as a discount against their products and services in future. So the first part of it is confidence is maintained in that discount currency, not by a central party which says this is real or has some guns behind it, but by an ever-growing group of businesses who are all issuing and accepting the same unit of negative value to a consumer base. So we call it decentralized issuance of currency. It has never existed in any other form, bar a crypto such as Bitcoin, which operates on a mining, on a proof of work idea. But in those systems, those units of currency, the unit of account is also a Bitcoin. And because the unit of account is also a Bitcoin, it's not understandable to 99% of the people just walking around in their daily lives. Whereas if the unit of account is synonymous with the unit of account within a local country, $1 or €1 or a pound, it's like, oh, that makes sense. I understand what it is. I can go and use it at the next business tomorrow morning, and everything's easy. So that hopefully explains how we give confidence in the consumer that they can reuse that currency. But the next part of it that becomes really easy or really interesting is when the merchant issues one of these digital dollars as a discount dollar, accepts it back as a discount dollar. Now they have the discount dollar. But the discount dollar itself gained value by the fact that the merchant accepted it. against their goods and services. So suddenly what happens is the unit of value that the merchant gathered back is actually redistributable either to another consumer, or the merchant can use it to gain a $1 discount in another business, or it can start achieving velocity. And what's interesting about that is that the merchant who issues this unit of value that cost them nothing accepts it back, which also costs it nothing, and reissues it and reuses it in another business in their supply chain. It means they had no cost for issuing a unit of value that was real, but everyone in the system believes it's real. And this is the interesting dynamic which VOW hopes to capitalize on moving forward in future. Now, there's a whole bunch of dynamics here which we can address at their highest sort of level.
So let me see. So I would go to your shop. Let's say I buy a suit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any crypto. I'm not into that or anything, right? And let's say the suit is 200 quid, and you give a 10%. I pay by debit card. You give a 10% discount in VOW,
mm-hmm.
which ends up in my wallet. So I'm paying £200, but I've earned £20 worth of VOW. Which
20 pounds back of VOW pounds, or voucher pounds as we call them, or voucher euros.
Okay,
so you have, it's very important that we understand they're separate units. So we have VOW, which is a unit of fixed value or limited supply on Ethereum, and then we have these discount voucher currencies, VOW pounds. They're totally separate. They're not the same thing. Yeah. So we'll move on to how it interacts with VOW later.
So then I've got the suit.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 200 quid.
Mm-hmm.
But as well as the suit, I've got 20 VOW pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can use those 20 VOW pounds to go to another shop that sells ties.
Yeah.
And that is also part of the VOW ecosystem. Now, I can pay for let's say the ties are 20 quid. Mm-hmm. I can pay for the ties with 25 pounds. Yes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then that shopkeeper has now got 20 VOW pounds that they've earned, which they can then give away as a discount to somebody else who comes to buy something, or they can use it themselves. Yes?
Exactly right.
Okay. But how is that not inflationary? Because we've just magicked up this money from nowhere.
So it's very interesting, right? So it's not magicked up the money from nowhere, right? What it's doing is every unit of value within that system is backed essentially by a distributed promise of acceptance, a distributed vow of acceptance, as you wish, in future. So imagine each merchant has a ledger. Here is what I've issued, and here is what I've vowed to accept back. So there's an entire group of merchants issuing and accepting this in the center all the time. Everyone understands. I mean, if I'm Pizza Hut and I distribute a $20 voucher, how can I not accept the $20 voucher from my customer? Because my customer is going to be pretty pissed off, right? Yeah. They're doing it every day anyway. We're just making that process more efficient. So in terms of inflation, we've got to, I mean, obviously in a small localized reward program, it's not inflation in the grand scheme of things. But as this process becomes bigger, it is an entirely new distributed monetary or negative value supply of unit that exists alongside everything that's happening in the normal universe, like a new points value or something that's circulating. And so there is no inflation unless one of those acceptance points goes bust, because then you would have more units of value in supply than vows to accept back. Make sense?
Right.
So one of the ways we've had to handle this is thinking ahead of how do we solve that problem when businesses naturally go bust. And the way we solve that problem is every unit of value that moves, every time there's an issuance, an acceptance, a transfer. So I go into one shop, I get 10 units, and then I'm like, oh, Crypto Rich, I know you've got no money today and you want to have a coffee. There you go, I'll send you 10. So now you have the 10 on your phone, which you can go and use within the ecosystem. That's how nice I am. So basically, I've earned them in, I don't know, one shop, sent them to you, and you can utilize them in another shop, and it offsets the ledger of that other shop. Yeah, so it's just moving around. But with this unit of value, every time it moves, there's a 1.6% burn on the currency supply. So if I send you 100, if you're a merchant and I send you 100, you don't actually receive 100, you receive 100 less 1.6%. When you reissue it, less 1.6%, blah, 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 blah. So what it means is that if we issue $1 million through this network, if all that units of value move around 65 times or whatever that number is, there is no currency left. There is none. It's gone, right? And this would be in the same way as, for example, a coupon expiring within a system. It's dead. Yeah. So as we remove these 1.6%, there's less and less and less currency, which proactively makes up for in case a merchant defaults. But there is a delta. So if, for example, no merchants have defaulted, that currency is now 1.6 times however many times less currency in supply. And if one merchant went bust, but we used up all the currency because people are using it, then of course there is the ability to reissue that delta into supply. And that's a continual exponential reissuing in supply as the burn goes down. We looked at concepts like seigniorage and all sorts of things in the past to deduce this model. But you're a guy who just shopped, earned free value. Do you really mind if you lose 1.6% by transferring the free value onto somebody else? It's a different scenario. Yeah. And herein comes the rub. The only way for those new values to enter supply is by the fixed supply coin VOW. So nobody can create V currency or a V euro or a V pound or whatever without the burning down of VOW. There is no other way to do it. So the more consumers are onboarded, the more merchants are onboarded, the more velocity of transactions, the more this thing expands, the less the supply of VOW. And because each merchant that participates needs to buy a nominal amount of VOW and hold it in order to issue these units of value, there is continual supply and continual reduction of continually increasing supply. Increasing demand for the coin and continually reduced supply for the coin perpetually. My dog is even excited.
Your dog wants to use.
Wants some VOW. There you go. Yeah. She's like, "Give me that VOW. Give me it."
Right. Like, use it to buy some bones. Okay. All right. Now, when did this start? When did this launch?
So we initially we created a token issuer in Jersey and did what we were meant to do to set up the token in Jersey and issue it out of Jersey, and that was in 2021ish that launched. And the initial distributions happened, and then about a month ago, there was a foundation created, which means that it's not owned by anyone. There is no one who gets rich out of the foundation. It's not there to enrich the directors or the trustees or anybody like that in the foundation. It's an independent legal framework foundation, and we transferred all the unallocated coins into that foundation. And so on one side, there is a bunch of unallocated coins which can be used to onboard merchants or used to do different deals in future or for developers who want to build on the platform. And on the other side, we integrated Snapshot, which allows for the voting on any of the smartphone. The whole community can vote on any different functions they want. And the keys were removed from the token issuer and provided to the Snapshot. So now the entire community can decide on the direction of it going forward and in the future. And we have achieved that level of decentralization that's incumbent on where we are. Now, I believe you've spoken to Eric in future you've spoken to Eric in the future and the past about some of the ideas that are building up in the background here. But of course, what's important to understand is we are different as a community than, for example, the Bitcoin community would be, which is based around the technology. In our thinking, we weren't thinking about technology. We're just based on ETH at the moment. But the blockchain itself, the type of transactions, the whatever way that the technology is handled in future, whatever great ideas people come up with or privacies or any of that kind of stuff that happens in future, that is for the future, because we can just lift the entire confidence and merchant networks and consumer networks that we have into any chain in the future. We're not locked to any specific thing. Why? Because the entire system is a mental conditioning system so that everybody just gains one thing, which is faith in a unit of account that they can utilize on their normal businesses, doing whatever they want to be able to do.
Okay, very good. And how does it all tie in with the VOW token?
So the VOW token, there was originally 1.14 billion of them minted. There's now 820 million of them left. And the tie-in to VOW is that if I am a merchant and I want, if let's say my normal cashback program, I am issuing 100,000 GBP every year in rewards, okay? And on a normal level, our salesperson speaks to the merchant and says, well, instead of having a payout of £100,000 every year, why don't you just tokenize that into the system as VOW pounds? And all you need to do is in future, instead of it being a cost on your business, on the second sale, the person can come back and get a £100,000 discount over time in your business. So instead of a cash outflow on both sales, you only have a cash outflow or a discount outflow on one sale, and you accept it back on the second one. Instantly, it's 50% cheaper for the merchant. But the next part of it comes when the merchant realizes he can take back in that 100,000 V pounds and they can reissue them. You can go and reuse them in their supply chain. They can do all of that, in which case it becomes totally cost neutral to be involved. And the merchant saved 100,000 GBP that they were previously paying out, which obviously helps a lot of merchants, especially in the physical retail sector, which need this help now. As we look in the UK, everywhere I go, there's just the cities are the high streets are collapsing. So how can we reinvigorate it by driving people into those high streets and making them start spending? How do we allow retailers to compete with their online sort of competitors? They can't on price. So this mechanism allows that to happen, and we're building out some great case studies of that now to start sort of spreading. How it ties to the VOW token is the following. Of course, if you just gave every business the ability to issue infinite money, right, then there's no economic control over the system, yeah, and that's bad. So we know that the economic control can't vest in centralized hands. So how can you create an economic control that's not in centralized private hands? And that is what the VOW token is. It's the decentralized reserve currency of the VOW ecosystem, as you've heard these words banded about. So if I want to issue 100 unit or that same 100,000 V pounds that we just discussed, I as a merchant need to buy and stake $20,000 worth of VOW. So I stake $20,000 of VOW. I issue 100,000 pounds. If I stake £20,000 worth of VOW, I issue 100,000 pounds worth of V pounds in my reward program. And when I accept them back, I have three choices. If the price of VOW is low, then I just reissue them or reuse the V pounds and keep it cycling each time a burn is happening, right? Mm-hmm. If the price, which is obviously impacting on VOW long term, yeah? So if the price of VOW is high, then when I accept back my V pounds, I burn the V pounds, so I've removed from supply the inflation and get back my VOW at a higher value. I've profited from being involved in this scheme. Not only do I get a free reward program, not only do I save myself cash money, but also I've profited potentially if the VOW price has increased. So if we look at this on the basis of merchants are gaining an advantage within what we call the reward program layer, so just standard reward program, non-crypto universe of the V pounds, and on the other side, I'm holding this asset which increases in value based on how many consumers are using the programs, how many merchants are being involved in the programs. So that's the relationship between VOW and V pounds or VINR or V dollars or V whatevers in every country of the world as we're moving forward.
Right, and to be clear, the customers don't know.
No,
need to know about blockchain or VOW, whatever. For them, it's a seamless experience. You tapping in, tapping out with a credit card or debit card. Okay, and then how many organizations or agencies are using the VOW system? What have you got coming up?
Yeah, so obviously the initial job here was to onboard a bunch of different programs in a bunch of different countries to get that process started, and then to just start increasing the amount of companies that are onboarded. So we constantly work on incentivizing companies to join the ecosystem on every level. But luckily, that's very quickly happening. Okay, so the first thing we understand is, let's say you're a bank, and you can either be a bank or any organization which already has the credit cards of your customers, so it's easy for you to onboard the customers, or you can be a media house or some large consumer group. You could have a taxi firm, a delivery, anybody who has the cards that wants to their customers press a button to earn rewards, and that's all they do within their existing apps, and that's all it is. Or any organization who doesn't have an existing reward app, we'll just give them an existing reward app. Within 4 weeks, we deliver them that, not through VOW, but through a company I'm a CEO of in the UK, which can deliver these reward programs to people, which is called Enigmatic Smile. And within 4 weeks, you can have a reward program set up for your consumer base, which allows people to securely register their credit cards, stuffed full of more offers than any other app in any other situation. So there are different organizations already involved with us on all of those fronts. We have card schemes involved, we have banks involved, we have media houses we have involved, we have just normal other things involved. We have ones we talk about when we're on the vow level, like right now, and ones we don't because we talk about them when we're in the reward scheme levels, just so there's no politics on any of this. But there's some we are involved with and we promote on both levels because we as an organization, as Enigmatic Smile, it's easy for us to mention them because we're invested in them or whatever. So one of them is the Geek Retreat stores. So there's 50 stores, great bunch of stores.
The Geek Retreat.
Geek Retreat. I don't know, for geeks, yeah?
Okay.
So basically there's 50 stores in the UK. We invested in that company and it's a really nice, interesting, community-driven sort of coffee, gaming sort of store. Interesting, great, exciting bunch of people who are busy doing what they're doing. And they'll roll out, so it's already started there, but we're just starting to roll out the apps all around their customer base. So I think they put the apps live and within the first week in 3 stores, 400 people downloaded the app, registered their card, and they started shopping. And every time they go shopping in Geek Retreat, they get 15% back in V pounds, which is more than the margin Geek Retreat could afford to give. So Geek Retreat might only be able to afford to give 7%. But because now they're doing 15%, why? Because they issue and accept, and it works out as a blended margin. The customer can also earn rewards in another 10,000 businesses all across the UK just when they pay with their normal card, which then they can redeem in Geek Retreat or they can use them somewhere else. So that's a retail level. There are banks already taking their offers from us, and we are partnered / invested in another company or another lot of companies now through Enigmatic Smile, which now controls about 90% of all offers on all debit cards and credit cards in the UK through different things. We're moving into the USA to do it. We've got a footprint through this organization of the Reward Collection into 250 million cards that are now across in America. And we did the same with another great, amazing company and bunch of people called Lux, who also have about 14 million cards where they put offers on. In India now, we have the 20 largest retailers in India. We are working with an organization in India, which is called NDTV, to launch an app called NDTV Big Bonus for their customer base. Currently, there are about 1,200 people a day downloading that app and registering their cards. So it's all kind of coming together in different markets, the same in Scandinavia, the same in America, the same in multiple markets where the exact same process is happening. Anyone who wants a reward program, come and have a reward program. And by virtue of, nothing looks different than a normal reward program. There's no crypto or anything. You're just in a normal reward program. But in the background, either the merchants or the companies and reward programs operating the programs need to hold vow.
Right.
Yeah. I hope that makes sense.
Yes,
I gave it
yes. Which then takes the vow token off the market where it's locked up so that those retail stores can then issue vow pounds or vow dollars or vow rupees, offering discounts to customers who may not know anything about crypto, but then they can use those discounted vow currency tokens in other places that accept vow to purchase goods and services. Okay.
Two things just to mention. The merchant, these are just legal perspectives. The merchant doesn't issue. A smart contract issues on behalf of the merchant. That's point one. And the second element with your statement is it's very interesting that a token, like a crypto token, and a token like a normal paper token, use the same nomenclature. But that's exactly what's happening on crypto level. On that level, we're dealing with crypto tokens, but on human being level in countries, we're just using normal discount coupons.
Right. If
you have a crypto token, you can swap it for a discount coupon, just a normal non-value discount coupon. And if you have a discount coupon, you can swap it for a crypto token. Yeah. So there's like a divide there in what's going on. And just to let your listeners also know, we use a tier 2 in London called Aventus, which means that on the tier 2 level, where all of these reward programs are going, there's no gas fees, instant transactions. You've still got the transparency of everything that's going on, which means that I can transfer money to you in literally a split second. You've got the value in your pocket, which you can go and utilize. Everything's instant. and it has to be instant because it's operating at point of sale, and it just works. Yeah, so that's kind of how it all fits together.
Okay, and then you said, and something you said just now had me thinking. So I could get the VOW pounds by shopping in a shop that's part of the VOW ecosystem. Then I can convert those VOW pounds to VOW tokens, and then I could use those VOW tokens to buy Bitcoin.
If you wish, that is the case.
That is the case. Okay, then where would somebody do the exchange between VOW currency to VOW tokens? Is it in the app?
Oh shit! What's going on? Sorry. There was like a gap on my end. I didn't hear what went on there. So if you can, if you finish off your sentence on buy Bitcoin and then start again, and I'm listening.
We got the buy Bitcoin again, so we just paused. So where can somebody do that exchange? Is it in the VOW app?
No.
I mean, from the VOW stable currency, from the VOW currency to the VOW token, they can do that in the app.
So let's imagine you're in a reward program, a normal reward program, a normal cashback program, and you cash out. So you've just earned your reward and you cash out. Across our ecosystem, we don't do cash outs, as into physical cash, right? No need, right? You just, if you want, you can swap your units of VOW pound for units of VOW pound on Ethereum. So we remove the VOW pound from the tier 2 and it appears on the tier 1 and off you go and do what you need to do. So that can exist within all the reward program apps everywhere, or it doesn't even need to. So in some reward programs, they don't want to add the ability to lift and lower. They just want to have, just earn and spend. That's all they want to do within their ecosystem. From VOW's perspective, it wins on every angle anyway. As a currency, it wins every single time. It doesn't matter, because what happens is, and I think if we're moving towards a sort of closure point on this specific interview, we should hit the most important aspect, which is the reason why I'm a VOW maximalist, which is important. Bitcoin does not encourage monetary velocity. Neither does any cryptocurrency really that's out there. Okay, they encourage hoarding, which is why MicroStrategy have 1%, Grayscale 3%. Heaven knows how much BlackRock will run. And now we have a monetary supply that is completely and absolutely controlled by the exact same groups of people that we don't really. I mean, it's nothing negative about these companies. I don't want to say anything negative, but it's not decentralized, right? Right. So hang on a second, right? Is that really what you want for your future, of your children, of the humanity? Is that really? No. It doesn't work. It's rubbish. It's not the future. The theory's great, but it is using the mindset of what is it we're building? Are we building something that serves humanity, or are we building something which serves the raping and pillaging of humanity? Right? And I would prefer that I was involved in something that was good for humanity. Now, I am a complete Bitcoin maximalist, probably for the next few years, because we still all know that Paul usually says in our meetings, a rising tide lifts all boats. That's worth having, right? But in the long run, Bitcoin, nobody wants to spend it. They want to hold it. If the crypto markets are dropping and they're liquidated or they're having to sell it, they're pissed off and they get really upset about it. But that same ability to push people out of the market is what the big guys use to just accumulate more and more. And eventually people are just going to be like, hang on a second, this game doesn't work for us. Which then means no matter how big you get and how many EFTs, ETFs and everything else that comes along, all that's happening is a decentralized group of heavy duty raping and pillaging going on for the rest of us. Yeah, that is literally what it means. Yeah. And that doesn't work for me. So I think that the monetary issuance should happen at the localized level. Yeah, the monetary issuance should happen there. And this is the only system which not only does that, but from a perspective of issuance or release of these vouchers, it is a localized network of business people independently making the decision to create money. It is not miners. It is not limited supply. There is no limits on the supply except the amount of VOW they're holding in the background. And they only need to take what they can use. So if I take $1,000 worth of VOW, I can circulate $5,000 in my little mini economy. And if I take $1 million worth of VOW, I can now create 5x, $5 million worth of circulating currency that I can close off that position and get back my VOW whenever I like. But logically, I'll only do that when VOW price, should VOW price accumulate. We can't promote that too much, right? So when you see that, what you realize is you break it down to another level. If you want to spend your Bitcoin, your ETH, any currency that you have, you're in a position where you lose value every time you spend it because you're losing value, right?
Yeah.
Trading feed back to your bank, back to whoever, it's just you lose value. Whether it's a small amount or a large amount, whether it's a penny or half a penny or a tenth of a penny, you lose value. And the very best you can get is the value you think you have. Now we have this liquidity layer of retailer created units of value that are just circulating. What happens when you want to swap your Bitcoin into that to go and spend it in a retailer? You will be able to buy this units of value at a discount. $100 worth of these £5, and I know I can spend them, but I cannot use them in, I don't know, the BP station over there, and I want to fill up my tank. I can swap that $200 of value, and I'm willing to take a hit on it. So I'm willing to take a hit. I'm willing to sell that $200 worth of value within the ecosystem to you, Crypto Rich, for £180 because you want to fill up at BP. So you give me £180 worth of Bitcoin, and I'll give you 200 to spend in BP. You're up, I'm out. I'm all good, and I can just collect this stuff for free. So I'm super motivated. So what we've we've got a situation where we can suck in every crypto, every fiat, everything, because we can sell money at a discount within the system. And it's difficult to get the words right somewhere. When I say we, I mean a community. I don't mean we as a company. So, but that's the general process. There's like two economies working in the VOW economy, and those two economies are focused on one fundamental thing. Speculation, which is the only thing which drives the crypto markets, is not the future of cryptocurrency or the future of money. The future of money is the usability of money on a day-to-day basis across entire networks of people. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Domino's arrived. It's in that door, I think, mate. Yeah, please. Thank you.
The Domino's pizza.
Yeah. I got it for free. Right. So that's basically where we're at.
One of the problems I can see is that the merchants have to have VOW, and a merchant may not know about cryptocurrency, may not be interested in cryptocurrency. So then how do you overcome that obstacle?
It's very easy, right? So basically remember there is levels in the game, yeah? So you can't just go out with one strategy to accumulate everyone within a strategy. And I think sometimes when people have a negative perspective of what we're doing and they're like, yeah, that's never going to work. Yeah, that kind of attitude. They just don't see the comprehensive nature of what we're talking about yet. When you are a merchant, we can sell the merchant. The merchant can go and buy VOW from anyone, anywhere, if it wants to. But some merchants are, let's say, incapable of, from a fiduciary level, holding any level of cryptocurrency. So, of course, that merchant's not going to have any form of involvement in the cryptocurrency side. So how do they get the voucher pounds in order to reduce the current expenditures they have? Well, they can get the voucher pounds from the central sort of marketing company in every country. There is one company which we call an MVD in every country. So if you are a merchant already giving out £1,000 of or 100,000 of cash back every year, it's very easy to just slip voucher pounds into that equation. And essentially what's happening is that the middle company in the country is giving the merchant the voucher pounds, and it's just operating exactly the same as a normal cashback system works at no cost to the merchant until the merchant wants to exit, in which case they would have to pay for the voucher pounds that they borrowed from the middle company. So there is no difference with a normal cashback program the merchant's operating and a switch over to this one, other than accounting in the background of things and a massively reduced cost to that participating merchant. So if you look within an domestic level, in each country there are different laws, there are different situations, there are different regulations. But when it comes to, this is why we're only doing discount vouchers locally, and crypto's up there in the universe somewhere as a public utility. It's very easy. There is nothing complicated, no interactions with crypto, nothing, unless the merchant chooses to. If the merchant chooses to remove itself from the interaction with a central marketing company, it can easily do it. But we start from the perspective of central marketing company involved. once the relationships are all in place and everything like that, the merchant can now multiply their ROI by 500% by just moving to their own issuance and acceptance cycle. If it is not legal, not possible, whatever, they just stay with the central marketing company. If they understand this capacity, they just become independent actors. And that's the sort of growth curve to how a merchant proceeds.
Okay. Now, if somebody wants to get involved, right, I'll have all the links to the website and the Telegram group and all that stuff in the description below. And I imagine it's on Android app and iOS app. But how can somebody find out which businesses accept and issue VOW pounds or VOW dollars?
So, shall I just share my screen now?
Oh.
Okay, so this is VOW Foundation. So VOW.Foundation is the foundation which operates the website for the community and can update it from now and whatever they need to do. So basically, this explains. I'll just lead you through this in 3 minutes. So we just noticed that $7 trillion every year internationally is given away by merchants, which is lost revenue in discounts, coupons, cashback. $7 trillion a year,
Wow.
7 times the crypto market today, and that is an annual compounding layer of liquidity that we can capitalize on because we make it more efficient, more comprehensive, more fungible, more exciting for retailers anywhere in any country in the world. That is our target market, is as a system tokenizing that 7 trillion issuance every year, way beyond any other currencies that are out there in a far more logical way than some of the stuff that's happening there. Okay, so this kind of gives you a bit of information. The contact details of the foundation and everything are in place down there to be read. If you click on ecosystem, it'll show you some of the stuff that is available. So get VOW, well, you can get VOW on all the decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, or some centralized ones like Poloniex and Bitrue and different places, and we're adding to them all the time as these exchanges want to list VOW. Any exchange can come along and just plug in and obviously list VOW and begin. You can hold VOW. So there was a wallet developed by ES for holding VOW, but you can also hold VOW in different other DeFi wallets that are available. You can stake VOW, which is something called the TLN protocol, which incentivizes liquidity provision for these different networks. And the guys that are doing a great job there, there's 8,000 nearly liquidity providers independently staking on Uniswap. We have a game, which is the first game which we're launching, which will be ready and launched within the next few weeks. It's called Rock, Paper, Scissors Millionaire, where you can go to a shop, earn your cash back or this voucher currency back in your hand. And once you have this reward in your hand, if I have $10, I can have 10 games where I can play peer-to-peer, going all the way up to winning 1 million of these units to spend in any of the retailers. We have vouchers launching very soon, which is a beautiful product. We are this product, vouchers, allows you to buy a unit of value of $20, and you can always redeem the $20 in any of the against any of the gift cards we have in the situation, or you're actually taking an option on $20 worth of VOW today. So until you redeem it, you've got a situation where you can never lose, because what happens is you put your $20 in and $20 worth of VOW is locked for you. If you choose to take the VOW when it's $50, you just lose the ability to spend it in V pounds, and you've got $50 worth of VOW. If the VOW drops, you've still got $20 in V pounds, which you can spend within the entire network. So that's a beautiful thing. You can collect V pounds in various apps that are launching all across the world. So you can look at the different apps that we're launching in different places. You can redeem V pounds in V Travel, which is a travel site. We did 1.3 or whatever it was, $1.35 million accepted of V dollars back at the beginning of this year. There were some mistakes, some issues. We didn't like some of the ways things were working, and what they've done is completely revamped it, because we know that this could be a 30 million V dollar rotation going here monthly. We need to get it absolutely right. So they've been playing to get that right. We've got over 2 million hotels, all the airlines, like everything's already there, where you can just literally redeem V dollars. So earn them for free in a shop, spend them as a discount on V Travel internationally. We will, at the moment, it's in V dollars, but we will have it in all the different V currencies by the end of September. And as soon as that development's done, we're able to launch V Travel in all of the reward programs and the top level for just V currency that exists on ETH. Acceptance, there's merchant dashboard apps for merchants to be able to use them. Developers can get in touch here and read about what we're doing, how to launch their own apps with any of the connected companies. You can, of course, vote on Snapshot. So if you hold at least 20 units of VOW, you can come in here and become one of the members. There's 730 real people. It's not like the other ones where they just link 5 million wallets and it looks exciting. They're real people just linking their wallets, yeah? You can learn, so you can go in here and look at the white papers or view frequently asked questions or view some videos on everything that's going on. So I think this is a good place to start, going down, understanding all the different actors, the different parties, what we're trying to do. And of course, nobody is an expert on anything, but what we're doing is we are making this process work in the real world. And anyone who wants to work with us and understands the benefits of this system, please get in touch through any of the social channels and see where we go from there.
Very good. Very good. Okay. That seems pretty comprehensive. Thank you so much for that. Bish, is there anything else you want to let us know that we haven't covered that's important for people to know?
There's a lot of important things we should be sharing with people, but if we throw too many tennis balls, nobody gets anything, right? So yeah. I think that's a good starting point, and hopefully you'll invite us back for more deep dives on things moving forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I've done a few videos on this before with Eric. I'd love to have him back, and you're welcome back too as well. So
he's better than me, though. I may be more accurate sometimes.
I'm not going to say anything, right? So it looks interesting. It looks intriguing. The opportunity of earning, it's almost like free. It is free crypto because I'm going to go spend 200 quid and get 10%, say, from a particular retailer and in VOW pounds, which I can then use elsewhere, and so on, which is always, always good. And I know, and we haven't said this, but I have said this in other videos, you do have a deep and thorough background in the retail discount market, and you're bringing that expertise to the cryptocurrency sphere. So I do invite people to check this out. Follow them on Twitter, join their Telegram group, check it out. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with Crypto Profits. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Bish signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Namaste.